Hello, everybody on Facebook. Hi, Thomas Macero. Do I know you? Okay, we're just going to wait for a few more people to join. I just want to thank Janet for once again inviting me back to do estate planning, estate and financial planning series, part two. And today we'll just be focusing on caring for your parents when it comes to estate planning. Oh, you're from Germany at Thomas. Okay, Sarah. Welcome from Germany.
Yes, welcome, Germany. Yes, I'm excited to have Roslyn back because our conversation last month was so exciting. Thank you so much for joining us last month and returning this month because this is something that we all need to know. You know, how to have a conversation with our parents so that they can be organized and also so we can know exactly how things will be managed for them according to their wishes so that we're not stressed and overwhelmed because we're trying to pull everything together. So Rosalind and I both have been on both sides of it. And one of the things I'm very happy about is that when my mother did get to that place where I needed to take care of her, at least I knew her paperwork was in order. I knew where everything was, her medical information, her directives, her living will. So I knew where all of that information was, and it made it so much easier for me.
Okay. Should I do this even more so, or are we all right? What I have?
I think it will be okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. As long as I don't shut us off. Somebody's sending me a text. So as long as I don't shut it off, and of course, for those of you who are following both of us on Periscope, you see those cute little three buttons. They're like our little ushers. Share it on Twitter. Let others know, what Roslyn and I are going to be talking about. So I thank all of you for joining me.
Hi, Wanda. Thank you for joining. Joining me on Facebook.
Just want to wait like till 7:05 and start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 7:05.
Yeah, like one more minute. We're gonna wait one more minute for a few more people to jump on, and then we'll get started.
Thank you. Hey, Leslie Scott. How are you, sister? I think you need to give me a call, right? Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Lo Emo, for sharing. Thank you. And of course, if I pronounce your screen name wrong, forgive me right now.
Okay. Okay, so we want to thank and share with your friends, please. Those who are on, please share with your friends so that they'll know that we are on and we'll be talking about estate and advanced planning. This is for your parents, how to have this discussion with your parents. This is part two. part one was so successful. People said they were really excited and really interested in hearing part two and seeing us on. And so now we're going to be continuing, and we're just pretty much going to stay focused on just having the discussion about how do you have this type of conversation with your parents. Okay, I was telling Janet that I was, in my research, I saw that only 42% of Americans, from a survey conducted by caring.com, 42% of people or Americans have wills. That is a low number. And that's not even talking about just, maybe your aging parents. I just want to kind of recap what I talked about just last week, talking about what is estate planning, what is estate and financial planning. I know a lot of people, and I really want to put this to rest, think about just dying, right? You have to prepare for dying. And every time I tell people I'm an estate planning and a financial, providing financial service, an attorney who does this, they're like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet. Or, okay, when I get a little older. No, estate planning really addresses all of you and everything that you own and everything that you may owe someone else, okay? So we're talking about documents that address your finances, documents that address your medical health care and your medical needs while you are still living. How would you like someone that you love, right? And is responsible, and someone that actually loves you back and who's responsible to handle your affairs while you're alive when you're not able to. You're out traveling maybe, you're not close to where your assets are. For instance, your home, you may be abroad or just traveling to Florida if you live here in the PA area, let's say. And something in your house breaks, a pipe bursts, but you're away with the people, like if you're married, you're away with your spouse. Who else can really handle and take care of that business for you legally that a contractor will actually talk to? Because a contractor is not going to just talk to anybody, especially if they don't have legal papers. They will not come and do your work for you if the legal papers aren't in place, because they don't want to take on such a responsibility. So if you have someone, and that would be done through what's called a power of attorney document, okay? A durable financial power of attorney document. And so that's why you are living, okay? So you want to make sure that you have a plan in place to make sure that your property and your assets and your obligations and you can be taken care of when you're not able to. And the other document is considering your health needs. There are times when you may not want to even address them, okay? But you have appointed a proper and a responsible agent who can have that discussion with your doctor. Or, God forbid, you may be involved in what we call an end-life situation. And that situation is where you may be in a comatose or vegetative state. And doctors say at that point that death may be imminent, right? So you have like severe brain damage, but we know people recover from that as well. But if you're in that situation, you at this time in your life, when you are of sound mind, you can make a decision ahead of time what type of medical procedures you do or do not want administered to you if you're in that state. Okay, and then you give the person who you named as your agent the responsibility of making sure they give that document to the physician, okay, and to the hospital. There have been cases in the past where people did not have, and you may know some situations yourself personally, people did not have these documents in place, and it caused a lot of emotional and financial distress among your loved ones, right? Because you didn't plan. You say you love the people, right? But you didn't show it. Love is an action word. You need to show it by putting your plans into place and thinking carefully about how you want things to be executed in case you're not able to. Okay, it's just as simple as that. It may not be a simple process, But it's a process, if you care about yourself, that you want to make sure it's one in place. And if things change, you want to make sure that you go over it on an annual basis, because people have life changes, right? You buy new houses, or you have a new baby, or you get married, or you get divorced, then those documents need to be reassessed again, okay? And so that's what we're talking about when it comes to estate planning. Now, financial services, we're talking about you can really put into action. Everybody wants to make sure they're in a place comfortably financially. And so you need to have a document or insurance, life insurance, right? Life insurance shouldn't only just cover your funeral, okay? Because sometimes people may have life insurance policies, but they may not be enough to cover funerals, which are definitely escalating, even cremation. Back, let's even say 10 years ago, 5 to 10 years ago, you could get cremated for less than $1,000. Not anymore. The different prices that I've seen for these cremation organizations that they have now, just like they have funeral parlors, they have cremation organizations, which you can plan ahead of time and pay for it in advance. So they cost, and they go from 1,000 all the way up to however you want and whatever you want to put in that package, okay? So they are not as reasonable as people once thought. But you want to have that in place, because I know in some situations where a loved one may want to be cremated, or a person may want to be cremated, and their loved ones don't want to cremate them. But if you don't have anything in writing, you will be having a funeral with a church or whatever, because you didn't put it in writing. You didn't make your plans known, okay? Because it's about you, okay? And so now we're talking about having a discussion with your aged parent, or just your parent. They don't have to be an aged parent, but a parent, okay? And did you want to ask a question?
Well, no, I was going to say, so how do you have that discussion? I mean, how do you start the discussion?
So one, you want to pretty much find out whether or not they have a will or they don't, okay? And so I always tell my clients, right, to start the discussion, first of all, you know your parent, right? And so if you don't know your parents' language, and we're talking about love languages, and if you haven't read the book, there are 5 of them. So you need to learn your parents' love language for one, right? You have to talk to your parent and communicate with them in a way that they can hear you, they will receive it, and sometimes it may be even bringing in a third party, right? Because if you and your parent, you got to be real, if you and your parent don't have a good, close relationship, and you haven't worked in trying how to mend it, then you may have to bring in a third party. There are different organizations that just deal with seniors, right? Who'll come to your home and have that discussion with you. Because what you don't want is not to have anything in place, because the cost can really escalate. Your parents may be receiving types of services that they need not to have received, or they may be receiving it where they had to put a lien against their property when they didn't have to do it. So you want to have the conversation. And to talk to them about, you have to be patient, okay? And it can be an ongoing conversation. And when you're patient, you need to be an active listener that is writing things down, okay? You need to be writing things down, or you can let your parents know that you're recording it, so that you can make sure that you know what their intentions are, right? Is it legal? No, it's probably not binding. But then what I also tell my clients to do, right? Because, some parents don't want to think about, or they may be so independent, they don't want to think about somebody having to do something for them because they see themselves as being weak. And so what we do is we should give an example. And you may know someone that your parent may know who didn't plan, and use that as an example as to did you hear about what happened to so-and-so? And then the parent can have an opinion about it, and that'll be a segue into having that discussion with your parent, okay? Or you could just be transparent with your parent and other family members. Sometimes parents, they may not be playing favorites, and some parents do play favorites. So you maybe want to get their favorite child to have the discussion, right? Or there are sometimes a child could have a better relationship with the parent than others, right? So you want to have a group meeting maybe with your siblings. And so you all can approach, come up with a plan on how to have that conversation with your parent. Or you can let your parent know, I want to take you to see an attorney. And so I'm not going to be in the room, but maybe you just want to have a discussion with the attorney. Some attorneys do home calls. We do home visits at our office. We'll go out on some, and visit with some clients. Other ones will, of course, visit with them in our office. What you want to do is, I said, keep notes. Never pressure your parents, but just have a conversation. You come up with, you got to be clever, okay? Sometimes you can find newspaper articles. That Aretha Franklin conversation would be awesome because most parents know about Aretha Franklin, who she is, and using her as an example, not having a will, and then them discovering all these different kind of handwritten wills, and they're still in court deciding whether or not that's a bunch of mess and confusion, right? It doesn't matter if they don't have anything. I don't want to keep saying that, but it doesn't matter if they have one asset or if they have no assets. There sometimes are legal medical issues. As I said, that medical health care directive that has to be exercised because your parent may be dealing with dementia or some illness, right? And so you need to know how they would like to be funeralized, right? Do they want to be cremated? What would they like their colors to be? Some people are very detailed, right? What's their favorite color? Those things. Especially if they have secret recipes or any type of secret. I always talk about secrets, right? Secrets of, it could be secret recipes that really needs to get passed on to the next generation. If famous Amos' grandmother didn't share her secret recipe with famous Amos, and he's the cookie man, a chocolate chip cookie man. He's not around anymore, but he was very popular. He became a millionaire as a result of his grandmother's secret chocolate chip cookie recipe with I think they were pecans in them, whatever they were delicious. Okay, he became a millionaire because his ancestors shared the secret recipe, and so it may be a secret and may not be lucrative for them today, but the next generation may know how to take it and make some money off of it. And it will change the whole dynamic of the family line, okay? So it's like the question is, how do you want your legacy to be remembered? I think that's a great question for a parent. Do you want it to be one of confusion? Especially if you're a family that may be one that's in confusion right now. So they can change that just by putting some things in place, just by writing that letter, right? That will tell you about the family line, will tell you about the secrets, the family secrets, and they can address it just to one person. And they don't have to let anybody know. They just have to let the executor know that when I pass away, now we're focusing on a will, and that's what you write for when you die. When I pass away, I want you to go into my drawer. And in the drawer, you'll find a letter. And in that letter, it's going to be assigned to so-and-so. And so make sure so-and-so get it. Or you don't even have to get in details like that. When I pass away, just make sure you go to my room and look at my drawers. Right?
Yes.
And if you find a letter in there, just make sure you give it to who it belongs to. We have something called, some attorneys will call them letters of instructions. I call it a memorandum. I attach it and making sure it's attached or mentioned in the deed. And so the will, and it will be either attached to a will or in a place that the executor will know where to find it. And in that letter of instructions, you can write those things about secrets, okay? So also, when it comes to having the discussion, broaching it, if you're not even sure if your parents have a will, or if they do have a will, we talking about how you can talk about and have the conversation, okay? So when you do have the conversation, you want to ask your questions, your parents, do you have a will? Do you have a trust? Do you have a bank account? Is the bank account just in your name? Have you thought about putting it into, someone's name that you trust, just in case you can't go and get your money? Or did you name a beneficiary on that account, and then that there are benefits to doing that? Or is the account a designated paid upon death account? And you have to ask it in such a way, if you have a parent who doesn't want you to know that they're in your business, like you can say, you can have that discussion about someone else, what they did, and the benefits for doing that. Or, like I said, you got to have a consultation with an attorney and find out the benefits of having these things, right? And then take it back to your parent, or just having your parent meet with them. And the benefits of having a joint account, be it one that's with joint of survivorship, or if they have account all, just in their name, that can really not be advantageous here in PA. What we have here is called inheritance tax return. Mm-hmm. And what it does, it looks at all the assets and the liabilities of a deceased person. And if your assets are greater than your liabilities, whatever that difference is taxed, and your estate, your parents, or that deceased person's estate will be taxed. And it's taxed at different levels depending on who the heir is, if you didn't have a will, or who the beneficiary is, if you do have a will. Okay. You ask your parents if they have power of attorney documents. And these things are important. And whether or not they have, if they don't have power of attorney documents, your parent may be in such a place now because it was not taken care of. They may be in an early stage of Alzheimer's or dementia. And so you may have to get what's called a guardianship. When that could have been avoided, guardianships could be pretty pricey for an attorney because of the procedure and the process that one has to go through in order to get it. And let not there be anyone contesting it who has an interest, then it gets a little more costly. So what you want to do is make sure this is handled. And so just having that type of conversation, telling your parent what we want to do is to avoid a lot of financial burden on the family members if you don't have these documents in place. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a question, Roz. So, and what I liked when you said bring in another party, because I do know someone who, their aunt, they actually went and got a will done for them. Okay. Unfortunately, they didn't get the will notarized. Mm-hmm. So, and the aunt passed away. So now there's a lot of different things going on. So I like that idea because, sometimes, like you said, they don't want to lose control because they feel like we're taking over, but maybe, taking it a step further, like, okay, I got the will, so can we go to or even like you said, bring the notary here while we have everything. So I really like that too.
Yeah, definitely. And so, not having a will notarized causes you to go through extra steps. And our court here is called the Register of Wills. And then sometimes because of someone may be contesting it, then it has to go to the court, the probate court, or the orphans court, which we call here the orphans court, in Philadelphia County, or just in the state of PA, you have different counties. So that gets costly as well. So what you want to do is really have these, good conversations, healthy conversations. Be patient. Don't seem like you're trying to, take what your parents have. Like I said, your parents, you need to learn their love language, which will really help you both and benefit everyone, right? Because it will cause maybe a relationship that wasn't good to become good, okay? And then in addition, you can ask questions like, what are your wishes? How would you like to be cared for while you're living, right? Some parents, like I have 3 adult children, we have a conversation. I have all my documents in place. All of my children know who's assigned with what duty and responsibilities. My children are a blessing to me because they have room or, location in her home that's called the Mother Suite. God is good. I reared them up telling them from a young age, you need to have a parent suite in your home. I'm a very independent person. I don't, I believe God, sound mind, sound brain, like Jesus Christ, okay? Mind and Christ of Jesus. So, I don't believe that I'll have to have them take care of me. But if I do, it's not my desire. But if I do, then I know that they know what their duties and their obligations are to mother. And I feel comfortable with that. So we treat each other well because I want them to take care of me well.
And that's true.
I mean, it's serious, right?
I mean, that is true.
You want to make sure that the people who are taking care of you are going to do well. And they don't necessarily, if I get to, I want to be real. I know my daughter's strengths and their weaknesses and what may be their limits. If I need to be placed in the nursing home, or, you as a person should think about if it gets too much on a child, because I know in situations, sometimes, because if your child's not a skilled nurse practitioner or home care provider, and that's just not their field, then I don't want to put an extra burden on my child and her family. So put me in a place, and that comes down to financial planning too. Put me in a place that will take care of me and just come visit me and making sure they're taking care of me like they're supposed to, right? So that's why it's good to have good conversations and relationships with the people who are going to be the ones responsible for making sure you are placed somewhere or taking care of you. You want to make sure that you as a person transform into a loving person, right? And that you're someone that people would want to be around, okay? And if not, then you're going to be in a place where people who are skilled and will take care of you properly will take care of you regardless of how you may turn out to be at that age. And so let's have those documents in place, okay?
And organized.
And so Janet's saying that because everyone knows this is Janet, who is Ms. Totally Organized. She will come to your home and to your business and organize your charts, to organize your life. She is truly a life coach. Janet and I are both life insurance agents. And so we can help you with your life insurance, which is also an income protector, okay? It's one that a life insurance policy will establish an estate for you immediately, okay? And your estate should really cover paying for your liabilities, because when you pass away, if you have debt, okay, your debts do not die with you. That's not automatic, especially definitely not your debts that are secured debts by your property, which would be your mortgage, and depending on whatever kind of debt you have, your loans. But if you have credit cards, because credit cards are so prevalent nowadays, creditors are not trying to forgive people of their credit card debt. So you need to know, even though they may not be secured, they will sometimes take people to court, your estate to court if you are deceased. Take your estate to court and get a judgment, especially if you own assets, and get a lien against your property with that judgment, okay? So it'll show up if you were to ever sell your property, and they'll keep reviving what they call revive the judgment. Every 5 years here in the state of PA, you revive the judgment. That means you bring it on the books again and to the attention of the court. It'll be fresh and new all over again, okay? So credit card companies are watchdogs now, and they want to collect their money because people have been dying with high debt. And, credit card companies, they have these high interest rates, and they're all about the money, okay? Especially if you spent it. So there we are. We talk about, I didn't say the term, but there is such thing as the long-term care insurance as well, that one can purchase to help pay for their care when they need to go maybe into a nursing home or have a home care provider come to their home. Okay. And then you want to ask your parents, have they set aside enough coverage to cover their medical costs and retirement? Because we know with them, oh my goodness, when it comes to medical health care insurance,
Yep. Yeah.
Medicare, Medicaid, you want to be very wise about how you save up your money and where you are putting your money when it comes to your medical insurance. Okay, so those are really all the things that I have to really talk about. You want to make sure your parents have assigned, once again, have a document called the power of attorney document, and a medical health care advance directive, and have assigned agents who are responsible. They don't have to have the same agent on each document because one person may be good at managing money. You want to make sure and it may not be you, but it may be, and it doesn't have to be even a relative. It could be an objective third party who's good at managing money, who not only, like I say, your parent can trust, but also that person is credit-worthy and trustworthy. And one thing about the durable financial power of attorney document, it is a legal document that holds that agent legally responsible. They also have to sign a paper to acknowledge that they have taken on this duty and responsibility to be an agent, and they can't commingle because, charges can be brought against them if they commingle funds, right? Or they misappropriate, or they do something that is not in the best interest of that person, okay, who we would call the principal or your parent in this case. That's who we're focusing on. And then if your parent is receiving some type of Social Security disability check, is there a representative payee that's been assigned? Okay, so that's something that you can do, or someone responsible to help your parent manage their money that they receive on a monthly basis. Okay, do we have any questions?
Do we have any questions? But a few things you were saying, Roz, is about having that conversation and knowing their love language, because at one point when, my mother was sick before she passed away, she would get all the bills. And because she was in that mindset that when a bill comes, specifically, even though it says this is not a bill, do not pay, but because it looked like a bill, she would pay it. And I really started looking at her finances, and I'm like, okay, where's all that money going? So I'd have a love conversation with her, and I said, hey, it might be a good idea if we have an account together. Your name will still be on the account, and you will still be able to sign every check. But in the event, should I? And what I did was I started looking at all the bills. I started writing them out, but I just set everything in front of her, so all she could do was sign it, and it made her still feel like she was empowered.
And that is excellent.
So I think sometimes, like you said, it's just knowing, like, okay, she already feels like I'm the parent, I'm the mother, and she's resentful, right. But I needed to make her sure that she still felt like she was in control and she was the mom.
Right. So many creative things that you can do, and that was perfect because you knew how your mother, you knew her personality, right? And she knows that you love and care for her. And so you want the best for her, but you still made her feel like she was in control over her account, right? So you didn't disrespect her by, I'm going to take over this and I don't care what you say and I'm going to write the bills, but you made her a part of the decision making and you allow her to review it. I think that's perfect. So you can be as creative as that. You don't have to go in and try to take over everything, but you make your loved one know that you respect them, okay? It's honor. Honor is due to your parents, and that they still will have a say in what's being done. Now, if you have a parent who does not manage money well, then you may have to do a little something here and there. Right? You can, okay, mom, oh yeah, okay, and then you may have to go, do something else. So, but it's to their best interest and it's for their benefit. Okay, so we want to be real, and you want to make sure you take care of that parent as you stated you would. Okay.
And then also what you were saying is knowing where things are, because when things happen, whether they have to go into a hospital or if they should pass away, at least you know where stuff is, because you panic. You're looking for, okay, where are the medical directives, or where is this document or checkbook, or
Exactly.
and you're just so just knowing, having a location, whether it's a drawer, whether you get one of those little portable safes or a safe or something, or a box,
Right.
but just having it in a location. Because I've experienced with my clients when they can't find things, and then they find something, and Roz and I talked about this in the last session.
Right.
You got 5 and 6 wills, but none of them are really valid. So
right. And so, right, and we did talk about this at the last session, that for those of you, you need to organize your documents and really try to have them in one place so your agents don't have to run around. And if you don't have these documents in place, you need to have your important documents like your birth certificate, your marriage certificate, divorce papers, your divorce decree, baptismal papers, if you have school records, all those important documents that you have, especially if you were in the service, and you need to have that honorable or dishonorable form. What's that? The DH 1492. But you know what it is, those of you from the military. You need to have those papers safely put in a place, and someone needs to know where they are, okay? Or you have a letter, like I said, directing someone to where they are. I talked about last week how you don't have to have a safe deposit box because that's an annual fee. You don't have to incur an annual fee. You can easily go to Home Depot or Lowe's, buy yourself a safe. Just make sure the safe is waterproof and fireproof.
Yes.
Because if you have a fire, they're coming in there with water, okay? And so if they're putting the fire out, your papers may get water damage if you don't have a waterproof safe. And just remember, you need to have somewhere where the combination or the key is, so that your agent will be able to have access when they need to have access, okay? So those are the important things that you definitely need to do when it comes to safeguarding and safekeeping those documents. And documents you should definitely have. The one other thing I like to get back to secrets too, because we as human beings, we have a lot of secrets, and we know that there are times when families are broken just because of generational curses, just things going on from way back or just in your life. And so what a blessing and an honor it would be to break that and to change the whole projection of the generations that are yet to come, right? And so that's why it's important. Some people, I have one client who found out that she was adopted, right? Not because someone left a letter and explained to her the situation, but because she was trying to close the estate of, and this one was adopted, but not legally, like with paper through an adoption agency. It's just that this man married her mother, but she's the only father he knew. The mother died when she was younger, and he continued to raise her. I mean, just an honorable man. But no one ever told her that she wasn't his biological daughter. And when she went to open up his estate, going through the process to do it, she discovered that he wasn't her biological father. And so that presented a whole lot of problems. She spent a lot of money until she got to that path. And so, like I said, it just avoids a lot of emotional as well as financial stress. Okay. And so we want to really love the people we love. And sometimes it gets to a point where you don't even know how to tell a child at a certain age. But if he had put a letter aside and put documents into place, that she could have went on and discovered she was not his biological daughter, but he could have sent her a love letter with that, you see? And then he could have wrote out a will saying that he wanted her to be his executor. It would have been saved her thousands of dollars that she didn't have, that she had to really go ask people for. And that's another thing. You want to avoid those GoFundMe accounts, those chicken dinners. That's yesterday. We need to do so much more and do better today. Okay.
Yes.
There are too many things put into place, and just be careful of those, overall, what is it? How you say it? One shoe fits all size type of will. Wills are individual, and they really are drafted and designed according to that person, right? It could be a simple will, but still is drafted and designed to that person within the, the peripheral of the law. So you want to just have a consultation with someone. Don't be, you're worth it. There are people out here who could do wills for you free. Just do your due diligence and search, okay? You should not allow yourself to get caught up just because you don't want to spend $5 on yourself and your family to get your stuff in order. Okay, I'm exaggerating. Let's say the most $100, $200, $300. But you spend that much on cable.
Yeah, on cable, on shoes, on
or if you go to
handbag.
Starbucks, you get to save up. I'm a Starbucks person, so I know how much Starbucks is.
Yeah.
So you can save up the money that you would have spent for Starbucks to put towards yourself.
That's true.
In order you put those documents into place so that you will be treated the way you want to be treated.
That's
and
true.
Be treated the best way that you should be treated.
That's right.
Okay. So put the plans into place.
Yeah.
And so have that conversation with your parent,
Yes.
especially if they have businesses. You want to make sure that there's some type of family limited partnership in place or a plan that will allow the business to make a smooth transition onto the person that your parent want to name to be, the person who takes over the business or who is to sell the business, however that parent, whatever that parent's intentions are. And this is applicable to you, but we're focusing on the parent. Okay. So those are the things that we have discussed. Like I said, if you have any questions, you can give my office a call. I'm located at 215. My phone number is 215-324-4424. We have associates who are licensed in Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., New Jersey, and in Georgia, okay? And I'm located at 150 Monument Road, Suite 207. That's in Bala, Kenwood, in Montgomery County, in PA. So have a blessed day. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I enjoyed you. And we'll give out better notices for our last and final series, which will be part 3. And that will be talking about?
We'll be talking about to our kids, the next generation, how we can prepare them so they can be a lot more prepared than, our parents and us, and they can really move forward with a good, solid plan for their future.
Right. So give Janet Taylor a call, Totally Organized.
Yes, I'm 215-229-7232. That's how you can reach me to help you organize all of those important documents that Roz said we all need to have.
And she's your life coach. She can also give you life insurance and have discussions with you about index of annuities. She and I both can, and long-term index annuities. And we have teammates who can help you with security documents, okay? Because they too are, they have a license in security. So we are a full service team here. We can help you and we can go across state lines, okay? So once again, thank you. We look forward to you joining us on November the 11th, which is Veterans Day.
Yeah, Veterans Day.
So have the vets tune in as well. God bless you all.